stand as one, walk with thousands.
If you guys can't tell, we are not in the studio. We are on location in Florida, and I am sweating.
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah.
Dude,
Man,
like,
you walk outside and you'll be sweating like Ruben Studdard.
shut up. I know. I get that.
Yeah.
I get sweat just coming down my back like nonstop.
I've had a perma bead going down my spine. But we are in.
Yeah. That is old.
That's a good reference. I think I was in high school. No, we're in Fort Walton Beach. We are at the Gulf Custom Motors. We're in Justin's backyard, essentially. And if you guys remember some of the back and forth on TikTok and Instagram back in like March, you reacted to me shaving my beard off.
Yeah, because you went from prepare for battle to, hey, how's wife and kids?
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a pretty hot wife, so that's pretty much all I got going for me. As soon as the beard's gone.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah, but it's...
I'm in your life.
You're okay. But
You're not near as good looking as she is.
You haven't seen me with my shirt off.
Touche. We'll do that later.
But
We'll do that for the Patreon. That's behind the paywall, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Patreon.
That is the VIP
Nipple play.
after dark. But we
got shave.
So we're today we're out here from
His nickname is Areola.
This whole podcast is just gonna be nothing but just like one-liners.
What's funny is we have an audience and no one is laughing. Just waiting.
Yeah.
They're like,
I think they're afraid to like have background noise. We do have a live studio audience. We should have led into that. This was recorded in front of a live studio audience.
No laugh track because
No. Have you heard about the laugh tracks? They were all like recorded in like the 1940s. So everybody that you hear laughing on sitcoms is dead.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, that's depressing as hell, ain't it?
Yeah.
But also it's same, about the same thing. Like, good on them.
Sure.
They live on forever.
Yeah.
Through their laughter.
Keep the memory alive.
Yeah.
do they still use laugh tracks?
Yeah.
Other than for Disney?
I don't know who watches TV anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have time for it.
I mean, I watch sports.
Dude, tonight.
Oh,
I'm going to go see. Sanders is first string? Yeah, he's starting for the Browns. Man, I'm kind of curious how he's going to be.
Yeah,
I am. Just that's all.
Cool
Cleveland
story.
still has a football team.
Yeah. They got about 14
I'm a Jets
quarterbacks.
fan, so I have no.
Are you really?
Yeah.
No wonder you're excited about a Browns game. Lord have mercy. There's nothing exciting about the Jets playing.
No, I cry every night.
No, yeah.
But if you guys can't tell, we've got, by now, if you can't tell, then you got some other issues. We've got Justin Danger Nunley on the show with us today. Like I said, we're in your backyard. We've done 2 out-of-state interviews, and the other one was another celebrity. So this is a really cool moment for us with that.
If you're calling me a celebrity, man, you struggling there.
I
It
mean,
depends on who
what
you
would you
ask,
call
you know?
yourself then? Because the amount of people I said, hey, we're going to do this with Nunley. I mean, Steven with 850 Barbecue, the guy who's catering tonight, he canceled his other plans because we said we were doing some stuff with you.
Yeah.
So-
850 Barbecue slaps, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can use this. I don't care. Like, that's some good barbecue, man. He knows what he's
We're
doing.
excited.
We're eating after this for sure.
Yeah.
But no, we're out here with a big thank you to our sponsors from War Trophy. You guys remember we had Nick Bright on the show, and then we had Barbasol come through, Barbasol shaving off, and then the not yet, but we're gonna talk Waze energy drinks. We're gonna get to that.
Waze ties in perfectly with what we're doing this weekend. Even though it's not a sponsor of the show, I'm one of the owners of Waze. And we give 10% back to military veterans and first responders. Have y'all tried one yet?
No.
They're phenomenal. Do we
Tomorrow,
have any?
right?
Bring any? We have some. Bring them on over. Bring them. Wait, tomorrow. You know what? We'll delay that for tomorrow. I'll get a video with them.
But
It's a good product. I'm not just saying that because I'm one of the owners. I'm one of the owners because it's a good product.
That's awesome.
And it's got a mission.
Well, he was telling me, can I share what we were talking about? No, he was just telling me how none of them, including yourself, have taken a paycheck.
No.
It's all just supporting the good cause and everything.
No, it's all about all of us are on the same page with it's the energy drink with a mission. So we want the mission to happen, and if that means us not taking any money from the company for a while, we're all okay with that.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, that's how you grow it. If it's your baby and it's got a good cause, and that's the
They
whole
already
reason.
donated over 100,000.
Yeah.
I hope that's okay. We can cut that out if we need to.
I don't know,
But
He told me they've donated
I
over
don't do numbers.
$100,000 since.
Yeah,
to
I just make
military
videos.
and
Yeah.
veterans alike, and so
But-
it's amazing.
The whole reason we're out here is because of a good cause, right? The reason that we have War Trophy helping us get out here, Barbasol getting us out here, all of you guys that are watching, and everybody who's going to come tomorrow, and everybody who listens to the podcast, it's all for a good cause. You guys know the name. I've got your 622. We've had Brian on the show before. We did a charity beard competition about 2 years ago at a barbershop that Tyson owned out in Utah, and now
Use a barber.
No, so I own a men's grooming company. I have some stuff for you.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, because I said earlier, I was hitting that side profile. I was like, you're half black, dude. Because like on that side profile, man, look, turn sideways. Turn side. Look for the camera. He looks like he's got some brother in him. Am I lying? I'm not lying.
It's the butt. It's the butt.
He is thick with 2 C's. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is called dad bods.
Yeah,
Beards for a reason. But
No, but we have like I was not joking when I say I have a ball wash. But no, I have all this kind of stuff, and so I had a barbershop to help create content and help. I don't know about you guys, like you have beards, JB does, Miles does, we have beards. We have a hard time going to the right place because they're always going to mess up. And so I wanted to make sure that guys, because I'm huge on mental health, we don't want to ask for anything. We just want to go in and get taken care of for us. And so I'm like, I'm going to create a place where you can get pampered and loved on and all this kind of stuff, and you can.
But not pampered too much. That'll wind you up in like a
no,
RICO
that's a whole different business.
Yeah.
We're not that kind. That's weird. I'm just, but it was a really good place. But then
I'll take the full service.
many times.
Wash and wax.
No, but we ended up closing.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
Well, there was this one time in Korea. I'm joking.
I met my
Crystal,
wife.
I'm joking.
No, but we ended up closing shop because we got some bigger deals, and I needed to use that for my lab space.
Yeah. So we've done quite a few things. We started in the men's grooming, and then we got into the podcast. Like I said, we've done stuff with Brian with I've Got Your 622, and that's the whole reason why we're out here. That was the pitch I got you on social media, and you said the same thing. Which the cool thing is when you follow a guy like you for quite a few years on social media, and then got your attention for a minute. We do social media ourselves a little bit, nowhere near your level. And you message me, you're like, hey, what's your phone number? And you call me within literally a matter of days. And then I say, hey, we're going to do this, and we're doing it all for charity. It's all going to be for veterans, first responders. That's literally the only thing I had to say. So there's a huge thank you and so much respect coming your way. And like the hospitality of the South, I've never been to the South or anywhere. I don't even know if this is the South. I don't know if I'm offending somebody.
No, you're in the South. We call where we're at. So we're in the Panhandle. We call it L.A., Lower Alabama.
Yeah.
This right here is a redneck Riviera, baby.
It was true. I was like, does everyone have like that Southern twang? Because I wasn't ready for that. Because we're in Florida. They don't have Southern twang.
No.
Everyone does.
But as soon as I said,
hey, did you know?
I didn't.
George Washington does cannabis.
No, he didn't do it.
He grew it.
He grew it. I'm pretty sure he didn't pick it either, back in the day. But no, the state of Florida tried to sell the Panhandle to Alabama back like post, during the Reconstruction of the Civil War. Tried to sell the whole Panhandle to Alabama for $1 million. Oh
wow!
And Alabama said, "We don't want that. Who wants that swampland down there, dude?" This could all be Alabama right now. All that revenue from Destiny, it just, people didn't have that forethought.
We were driving by some of the sandbars today. It was just, I'm like, we need to be out there doing that. Why are we doing a podcast?
That looks like your big butt.
But the whole thing is the fact that, I don't know what you were just saying.
Look, the sand dunes.
No, I said
nice
sandbars.
I was like, the sand dunes look like Logan's butt.
I don't know why
Nice
you
and
know
firm.
that, but no.
I looked earlier too. He's right. I took.
I got no butt. I'm like, if you took a frog and you stood it up and put pants on it, just like straight from my neck to my ankles.
Dude, I'm the same way. I go straight from back to hamstring, man. I ain't got no ass at all.
Yeah.
No.
I look like an uppercase letter P. Just like. But as soon as I kind of get back to what I was saying, I was like,
what are we talking about?
I don't know.
This shit's went off the rail, man. What are we doing?
You said you had some Adderall on you?
Yeah, dude, and I double dosed up. I've been up since 2:30.
Yeah.
Right, so man, it's starting to pop. I'm starting to sweat. I shook a little bit earlier. We good? I drunk a ways. Yeah, we good.
But I was just saying, though, as soon as I said veterans and first responders, it was like all I've had to say for you and everyone else down here. So that's a really cool thing to experience. I mean, obviously, in Utah, we've got a couple of big military, we've got the Air Force Base and some other National Guard bases and stuff. And we've done veterans and first responder type events and things before, but this is a different level. Like the amount of involvement and everyone who is no questions asked is.
You finally got it pulled down.
Yeah, did you see that
dude,
thing?
It was up
I mean,
up
you
here.
could have helped me out though, dude. Like
I started to reach over, but I was like,
It's the
I'm not
humidity,
going to
this-
interrupt this time.
I'm dripping.
the humidity just like so. Anyways, the whole point of all this,
He is sweaty.
we're doing all this, having Justin on the show, we're talking about it, and then we're doing the big charity event tomorrow where we are going to be getting as much donations as we can for I've Got Your 622. And the thing is when we first started doing stuff like this, Tyson is a civilian contractor at the Hill Air Force Base in Utah. So he reached out to the
Are
connections
you over
there.
on the depot side or? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a training coordinator up there, so
Okay. Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I love the people up there.
Yeah.
I have a lot of guys who are very close to me who suffer from PTSD.
Yeah.
And one day they've all told me a little bit about they're going to come on, but they're just not ready yet.
Yeah.
That's why I do what we do, is just because I see them suffer. Like a lot of them can't, the 4th comes and they'll go to Island Park where you can't have any fireworks, you have anything like that because it just,
No fireworks.
not in Island Park.
I pitched.
where Yellowstone is, right?
I pitched to Blue Wahoos. I'm friends with friends with the organization, but the marketing guy there, and I said, dude, I told him earlier in the year because we went on a fireworks night. And I said, man, have you thought about like doing a Vietnam veterans appreciation night and like just set off fireworks randomly throughout the night, take them right back,
Sure.
show them appreciation.
But it's
He didn't think
true.
it was a great idea, though.
No, I would
at
say
all.
it's probably not.
No, it's. I had a neighbor who was a Navy SEAL, and he was the only one to come back. And he's never said anything. The wife, when we moved in, he was our neighbor, and she came and said, "He's a wonderful husband. Don't let your kids alone with him. And sometimes you'll be talking to him, and he'll be gone."
Really?
And he's like, "You can't. He's not being mean. He's just back."
Yeah.
And so it's just, I've seen the suffering, and that's why I Got Your 622, and Brian's, like, you can go back and listen to Brian's podcast. It's real.
Yeah. I've been in the military for 20 years, and I officially retire at the end of this month, right? And I make jokes, about the veteran community and everything. It's it's kind of like EMTs, It's how you're all trauma bonded,
Yeah, 100%.
But like what's good about what we have now, the resources that we have now, those guys in Vietnam didn't have that, and they're still struggling with it to this day. I've got members of my family that fought in the Vietnam War and still struggle with it, and they come from the generation where don't be a you just suck it up, and roll on, and that's pretty much. They're not going to go get no help.
No.
So.
Well, and that's the whole premise of why we're doing what we're doing. Is they're not going to get into all the crazy backstory, but I was diagnosed and struggled with suicidal ideation because of bipolar disorder, and that was something that I buried for years. And I was addicted to Adderall because I was trying to feel better and get my stuff together.
Well, you were misdiagnosed,
and I was
because of that.
and on top of all that crazy ADHD and all these other things, and Tyson's had his own bouts with mental health issues and people he care about, and it hit a point where, the men's suicide rate is 80% of all suicide. The whole point is to give men permission to talk about this stuff, because you get this weird dichotomy of like, you're either soft and you're weak, or you.
What does dichotomy mean?
Sometimes you just go with it, and you're like,
Yeah.
and you get the gist after
Anyways,
a little bit.
you get this really big separation sometimes where you think people are like, oh, you're weak, right? Or you're just tough if you're silent. Well, you just rip that thing amid.
Yeah, well, we've got 3 cameras. They just cut it out when I do it, I told you I doubled up on that. I got to hit something every once in a while,
But that's why we do it, because you can do
how I
both, right? You can do both. You can talk about the hard stuff, but you can at the same time like retain your masculinity. Right. You don't have to suffer in silence, because it's a lot easier to stay quiet than it is to speak up, especially as a man, right? From my own personal family history, we had great-great-grandpa. He died riding a horse because he fell off and hit a tree. That's what a story we were told for years. Actually, Grandpa passed away by suicide in an asylum in northern Utah.
Damn, not a horse to be found.
No, but the point is in the family shame, right? And so, but we got to end like that stigma. But sometimes we get serious, and sometimes we go deep, and sometimes we get tears on the podcast. But then a lot of times is we try to bring it back, and we have episodes like this where there's a healthy mix of both, or there's a little bit of an unhealthy mix, because that's how you reach guys, is authenticity. You reach them with the relatability. You reach them with, giving them permission of like, hey, you can do both. You can be dad, you can be husband, you can be the tough guy, but you can also lead with
Well,
Like,
that's one
take care of
reason.
yourself.
I'm 5 years into the whole social media thing and doing videos and everything, and I've caught some heat on some of my punchlines or whatever. I'll toe the edge, right?
Sure.
And one reason why I really haven't changed what I do is because that's a missing link in today's society. Everybody's so worried about offending somebody else, and no matter what you say, you're going to offend somebody.
Sure.
If you try not to be offensive, you're going to offend somebody. But I get messages all the time, and I'm not the only one. Scott, I know Scott and some, mandatory fun days here, Austin. I can't say his last name because it's just Austin alphabet.
It's so long.
Yeah, it is. Long.
There's lowercase
That's the only thing he's got that's long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you got lowercase letters in the beginning and uppercase in the middle. Like, yeah.
We'll put that on Patreon.
Sure,
too.
yeah.
But no, you get those messages of people that say, what you're doing matters, because, there's a lot of people that don't have anybody to turn to, or, they live alone or whatever, and they turn to social media, scrolling on videos or whatever to, kind of get their, escape from reality.
Well, I mean, the whole science behind humor and laughter, I mean, that's Robin Williams, right? He talked about when you are helping people laugh, you're helping, share light in some of the darkest times. And then we find out years later that he had a whole level of his own darkness, and he's not here anymore because of that. And so the cool part is that, you toe the line, and sometimes, whatever with your humor, and you get some heat. I mean, everyone gets some heat, but the point is then you look at what you did a couple weeks ago. With that GoFundMe with the family the mom's struggling with, that was needing to.
I mean, that was wild.
That blew my mind.
But the cool,
My mom, she didn't know anything about you, nothing, and then she's like, "Oh, that's who you're going to go see." I funded that. I paid some money on that. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to go see him. It's like, well, tell him he is an amazing human. Bless his heart, because we got to help that family. We didn't know it. And I'm like, she's not Southern.
Right.
Did I want to say that?
Sure. I don't know where that came from, but
anyway.
One cool thing
I
about
thought that was amazing.
One cool thing about that whole story that never got shared on social media is that 2 days afterwards, the lung transplant board, had a meeting or whatever, played my video in the board meeting, and she got put on the list after that meeting. So she's waiting on lungs right now. They've already gotten, by the time you see this, it goes through editing and everything. She may already have her lungs, but she's already gotten called, and they was, jumping up and getting things ready. And then I think they got about an hour down the road, and they was told.
That's amazing.
But see, that's within the power of what you're doing.
How do you, because I've read some comments. I've read some comments. I'm like, how does he know if it's real or not? And then how do you, because I get comments all the time, but nothing to your extent. How do you know who to help, who not to help, and who's real and who's not? Normally it's vetted. If I see something and I say, these people seem like they need help, because there's a lot of people that scam out there. I mean, and it's bad, and they're good at it, man. They're good at it. Like, you look at it face value and you're like, those people need help. Yeah. I've got a team. My business manager and her husband are great at vetting stuff like that. But with that one, dude, I saw the video and I was just like, they need help. And I honestly, it may sound cheesy or whatever, I just kind of felt called by the Lord to do that video and go help. I was laying on the couch watching. I'd gotten the video sent to me. They shot the video and then uploaded it early in the day, and I saw it earlier that day. And somebody sent me a text. I said, I'll get back to it, right? Because I was so busy. And I was laying on the couch, and somebody texted it to me. And I opened it up, and it was playing, and Blake was sitting there playing Rainbow Six Siege or something. We was in the same room, and I didn't realize he was even listening, but, after I scrolled away from it, I was, in my head, I was like, I'll reach out to him tomorrow, maybe we'll do something tomorrow. And Blake said, what are you going to do? Yeah. I said, what are you talking about? My 12-year-old, right? He said, what are you going to do? I said, what do you mean? He's like, go shoot the video. And I was like, okay. Wow,
see, that's pretty
cool.
cool.
Your son did that.
Yeah. I mean,
that was like at 9:30 at night. I didn't post that video until like 10, and by the next morning, we reached the goal. Yeah, we reached the goal in an hour. Yeah, right. They had it set at $50,000, and I knew it was going to far exceed that. Right, and the next morning, I think it was at 100,000. Last I looked, it was like 152. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
it was like 159 something thousand, and that was less than 24 hours.
Yeah, and that's going to take a lot away from that family. They're going to use every bit of that, and because she's not going to be able to work, he's not going to be able to work, and the kids are going back to school here soon. They're going to need it, and those bills pile up, even though, they may have insurance and stuff, they're going to have to, have hotel rooms and stuff like that for weeks on end.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot to you too, and of the fact that like your son was just like, Dad, like go and do it. So I'm saying I think that's
we can thank the wife for that one.
Good reflection. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of both in that same boat. But that's the cool thing is like, I mean, I know you asked the great question of like, how do you vet those? Because you get those messages every now and then. You're probably flooded with those. But that's kind of like the whole point, like we were saying, doing this is that there's so much good that can be done with social media.
It's a good thing, but also, and I hope everybody understands when I say this. I hate doing videos like that.
Oh yeah.
Because when you do, your inbox, your email, everything gets flooded with everybody trauma dumping on you.
Yeah.
Right? And you hear some of the saddest shit imaginable, right? And then, at the same time, you're reading all this and I've got a good team, they do the emails and stuff, but all the inboxes and everything's me. That trying to stay positive, in a funny, upbeat move, that gets hard after you read some of the stuff that people are going through. And, some of it may not be real, but I think a lot, of it is. People are going through it, man.
Well, and at the sake of privacy and things like that, we've had a couple of different, pretty, religious followers of our podcast that have reached out to us. And one of them was even in, actually a couple of them almost at the same exact time that were what they felt were their final moments. They kind of decided that they'd had enough. And I mean, that weighs on you, especially when we've kind of been there ourselves. And I remember the feeling.
A lot of calls.
Yeah, and I mean, one of them was, calling overseas, trying to figure out how to call, a police department in another country because somebody's sending us a goodbye note. Like we're two guys over in Utah that we've never met some of these people, and it's like we're some of the last people that you're going to say goodbye to, and so you feel this like heavy like.
You got to do something.
Yeah, you got to do something about
not just to help somebody else, but you don't want to have to live with that either, that maybe I could have done something.
Well, it was his anniversary. It was his wife and his anniversary, and they're out to eat, and I messaged him like, hey, I got to hurry and do a wellness check with one person. You need to go do a wellness check for this person. And he stopped what he was doing and called, and I mean, they were in Ireland, and I had to do one in New Orleans, and it was just like, what the crap? It's just like there's so much sadness in the world today that they're just going through so much, and so that's what I love about your content and a lot of like Scott's and just where you can just kind of forget yourself, even if it's only 15 seconds. It's like every time you do something, I am laughing, and it's like there's some really funny ones, but yeah, no, kind of. A lot of us know your personality, your persona that you like portray online and stuff like that, but can you kind of get into detail of like you being in the military, who you are in reality, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody online that I was in the military for. Man, I was doing videos for about 4 years at that point, and
you were shooting them all in your truck, right?
Yeah. Just last year, I came out as military came out. It was in June. Don't worry, it's Pride Month.
Still waiting for Logan.
Yeah. It's Air Force. It's close enough, right? If you ain't ammo, you probably dig it on your ass valve. And there is a niche of people that will get that joke and love that joke and appreciate it. But no, I didn't tell anybody that I was military just because I never wanted to be known as a military member.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Like, I'm proud of my service, and I'm glad that, I served 20 years. I'm glad to be retired, but I don't want to be known as just, a vet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I never said anything about it. And plus, when you do some of the stuff that I do, some of the, the punchlines that toe the edge, there's a group out there, man, they want to come at you, so if you don't give them a whole lot, then, who they going to go to and complain, so.
Yeah, it's kind of those like if you know jokes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a lot of friends, a lot of close friends that are military, retired military, things like that, and obviously they've been following you for a while. One of my really close friends in our neighborhood is he's a Marine, and he
I'm sorry,
just follows. I mean, he really likes the purple crayons. He says they taste like grape.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always heard that the orange ones were really good.
Yeah.
I always tell the Marines, they're a proud bunch. They really are. And I always tell them, I'm like, hey man, I scored high enough on my AS valve. I had a choice.
Yeah.
I joined the Air Force. So,
but no, so we talked about you've been out for a minute, but you officially retire.
Yeah, I've been doing Skill Bridge. It's a program where you can get out of the military 6 months early and kind of, float on out into the civilian world and, work for a company for 6 months. And, it just helps with the transition there, because that is a big piece that a lot of people don't talk about is, for the past 20 years, I've been military. That's what I've known, going in the military, and a lot of these, people getting out, that's all they know from the time they graduated high school till their, early 40s, mid 40s. And it's a scary time because you know that you have that, that security, unless you really, really screw up, man, you got a job, and it's a scary time for them. So the skill bridge helps them, get out and go find work, and I think that helps out a lot with, the mental health aspect of, transitioning out back into civilian life.
So you're saying you had to go, you like working at just a regular job for 6 months? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm doing videos.
Yeah.
I'm not turning wrenches or anything.
Oh, see, I didn't know if that was I was just saying, I saw you doing some stuff with a Harley shop.
Yeah, I'm working with Emerald Coast Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
And it's been great. I love it. It's a great dealership. If you want a bike, come holler at us. It's a great place to be, a great place to work, and the whole team is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place, have you been in there yet? I'll take you over there in the morning before we come over here, but it honestly feels kind of magical. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got juice to it. And,
we go to Timpanogos Harley Davidson and get some sliders.
We just go there because they got a burger joint inside.
Oh, so y'all frequented Harley dealerships.
Oh, yeah.
So when I take you in tomorrow, you're going to be like, oh, man, this place got the juice.
Okay.
My manager, longtime manager, he's sitting right over there in the Harley shirt right now. He came up to Milwaukee when we went up for homecoming and spent the weekend with me, Gus, the owner over at Emerald Coast, and he's moved down here now. He's living with me right now, and his wife's stay back in Bristol to get the house sold, and they're all coming down, man.
Oh, wow.
It's just, and Joel, the one-arm guy from the video that was the whole inspiration behind the missing parts ride.
Yeah.
He's moving down here Monday. He starts on Monday, moving from North Mississippi. So it's a really cool place, really cool family atmosphere, and it feels kind of magical. It's got juice, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's been killer being down here. One, I think every meal I've had so far has included some kind of fish.
Yeah, we'll have to go tomorrow night. I've got this spot that I always take people to when they're in town. We'll go tomorrow night after this. You'll love it.
It's job security for us, right? Because we're dad bods and beards.
Yeah.
I mean,
He ran a marathon and ran a half. We're doing High Rocks next.
You ran a marathon?
In June.
You didn't run it.
Oh, I did, yeah.
He
You ran it.
So believe it or
6
not,
hours. Took him 6 hours. He did it.
Man lie about that. He'll lie about anything.
5:34.
Oh, sorry.
26 minutes down there. But
Did
no,
you
we
run a marathon?
Yeah,
Did you see it?
I got pictures and videos.
And now we're
Things
doing
were
High Rocks.
jiggling, but
we're
I
going
did
to.
You're talking about 26 miles.
26.2. Don't take that 0.2.
He's lost 50. I've lost 70.
Really? Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
So
when did you run a marathon?
June 7th.
Really?
Yeah, like a month and a half.
You're like the white David Goggins in.
No, I ran it with the white David Goggins. No joke.
Robert Michaelis.
His name's Robert Michaelis. He's got a beard down to his
Yeah.
junk, and he lives in Orlando. And he flew all the way out to run it with me.
Have you ever read that book, Can't Hurt Me?
Oh, yeah, no, I listened to it.
Bro, oh my God. That is
have it on
one of the
audiobook.
best audiobooks ever. They
'Cause they
ran it
do
like
the
a
pod-
podcast, man. That's like, and it is so inspiring hearing how he came from. And the most inspiring thing is that he's black and he swims, because that's not a thing at all. So
Everything comes back to a
In my mind, I'm like, am I allowed to laugh at that?
yeah.
it's a good joke because it's true.
Yeah, no, we got
James Dixon was
We
on
had a
there.
buddy who was supposed to come out here. His name's James Dixon. He was the honorary member of the Medal of Honors, and then there was a big hang up. He couldn't come out, but he's big, tall, black dude, and he catches us in these black only jokes in the middle of them, and then he like hits us with the punchline. You and him would probably get along because you defeated him.
I'm like, get out.
I can make that joke though. I took a 23andMe last year. I was 2.1% sub-Saharan African.
There you go.
See?
Sub-Saharan.
You hear? Overlay the fire detector chirp
Oh,
for the editor.
lost me
You're
for a
welcome.
second. But
Yeah.
so before we got going, and we were sitting there chatting, and you were asking, kind of how we wanted to run the podcast and stuff like that, and we were saying like, oh, we go, kind of wherever the guest has taken us.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we've talked about or haven't talked about, or things in the back of your mind that you've like, oh, I
we
should
do
talk
like
about
to talk
this?
about mental health and the importance it is with you and stuff like that.
Not putting you on the spot here, but I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, you're like, I've been up since
Yeah.
2 a.m., man. Why you gonna put me on the spot?
Yeah. So, no, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
What were you looking for?
No, nothing. So we got ranked
Filler
like.
didn't ask a question, wasn't looking for something. He was looking for something.
He really is.
What are you looking for? Just ask it.
Well, I was just saying, if
Just
there's
say it.
sometimes we get
Just
going
say
on the show, people we call it sometimes like the dad bods and beards effect, where guys will come out and they'll be like, oh, I didn't expect to get into this.
Yeah.
Like we've had Scott on the show, and we diagnosed Scott ADHD on accident.
Yeah.
Talk about a turning point.
Yeah, like what made like there's a point in your life where you were just low. Like this is like I can't go any lower.
Yeah, man. If you really want to get deep, I mean, like, and I think I've talked about this before, but I've been around death my entire life. My little league teammate, him and his father. Now, before I tell all this, you got to understand that I grew up in a little small town. Our graduating class was 69, right? So very small. Hometown, nothing ever happened. No crime, nothing. I mean, there was people stealing catalytic converters and stuff, but nothing, no major crimes. But my little league teammate and his father were murdered for some guys to steal their truck to rob a bank. And his dad, Harold and Joey Pugh, and they were just out fishing, and the guys were waiting on them to, come back to the, hook back up, and they stole their truck, went and robbed a bank, and they got caught. And then my third grade classmate, Alexis, sweet Alexis, her mother and her sister were all brutally murdered by her mother's boyfriend. And then, my cousin passed away in a car wreck, and I seen him like 20 minutes before it happened. I was working EMS at the time, volunteer rescue squad and volunteer fire department. And I went on the call, and I helped pull my cousin who was like a brother to me growing up. And that sent me into a spiral like depression that lasted, a couple years, and I didn't know what it was, and I've had people, all throughout my life, just freak things happen. One of my first supervisors in the Air Force, we worked midnight shift, and there was only 4 of us on shift, so we were all pretty close. I was still a young airman, and he had told us earlier in the week that, I can't tell that. He was killed by his wife when he went home on a Friday morning when we worked off, so, and it's just, kind of surrounded by it. And it's just like, now at this point, it's just like, if something happens, you're just like, here he goes again, So, yeah, I mean, stuff like that. But it also teaches you to be resilient, It'll put you in a dark place for a while. And I've kind of learned how to.
And how do you, like you were talking about your
man? I don't know. I start craving going for a run. I'm not a runner at all.
Yeah.
But when I start feeling that, I will throw on some old sad country songs and go for a run. My cousin committed suicide a few years ago, and I did his funeral. And everybody always asks me to do the funerals, right? Because I'm good at public speaking. I don't mind a crowd or anything. Sure. And that I always crash out after the funeral because if you're in that role, you kind of have to be strong for everybody else, And so that's the aspect that nobody ever sees of that. But I just throw headphones on and go listen to some Gary Allen, man, and go for a run. And I don't know why, but it always seems to fix it, whether it's the endorphins or just, getting off your ass. Because when I went through clinical depression, when I first graduated high school, man, I didn't know what it was, but all I wanted to do was just go home from school, lay in the bed and stare at the ceiling.
That's it.
Didn't give a shit about anything else, right? And then, somebody, I don't even know who it was anymore, but they said, I think you're depressed. Yeah. And I was like, I don't even know what that is, right? Because the internet wasn't like it is now. We didn't have smartphones, so you couldn't go on WebMD and search. Huh?
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2002.
Okay.
Right.
So 98.
Yeah. Man, you old.
Yeah. No, it's just I can relate because we didn't have it.
Yeah, no, and we're like the last generation that went through, turning the TV by hand
Smacking
and everything.
the side of it,
The
make
tube
it
TV instead
yeah.
of the flat
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, we had an antenna growing up and everything, and then now into the digital age where the all of information from all of mankind is at our fingertips, and we're all more stupid now than we've ever been, which is wild to me, so.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you sharing that because that stuff's never easy to talk about because you kind of go in the recesses of your brain, stuff that you tuck away, file it away, and that's essentially what ending the stigma with mental health is, and talking about it is the best way that we feel to start the conversation is by starting the conversation. Like our motto is it starts with you.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like you got to start. You got to start somewhere, and it breaks that ice. I mean, you've seen the movie The Italian Job. I've been saying this one you never see it Way Back When?
No.
So
My favorite joke to pull on people's out like I don't know who anybody is and
Sure.
I've never seen anything.
Sure.
Right? And I love to hear people just try to explain. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a clue.
then you go into like crazy mansplaining.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's this part in there where he said, he's asking his daughter, he's like, hey, how are you? She's like, I'm fine. And she goes, well, you know what FINE stands for? Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. And 9 times out of 10, you ask your buddy how he's doing, he's going to tell you he's fine. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay. I'm just tired. I've been pulling some extra hours. I'm just a little stressed. We have all these reasons of why we're fine and we don't want to be bothered, but really there's a storm going on inside.
Oh yeah, and you know it as a friend.
Yeah.
Like if you're ever asking another man, hey man, you good? Like you already know he ain't good. But then it's trying to pull it out of them and talk to them, and I've done that with a lot of people. Several people that I have, they came back and told me this, like, dude, I seriously think about ending it that day.
Yeah.
I always tell them, whenever they finally open up and talk to you about it, I always tell them, I'm like, do me a favor, if you ever decide to do it, call me. Mm-hmm. Just call me. You can do it. You can do it with me on the phone before I could do anything. Just call me. Give me a chance.
Yeah.
Give me a chance to talk about it real quick. And that's always seemed to help. People need somebody to talk to. A lot of times, people just want to know somebody cares.
Yeah.
Because the digital age, everybody's on their phones all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
no
easy.
connection.
There's no human interaction, and I fall into that myself. I get very busy. And I forget to check up on people a lot, and then when you find out somebody's struggling or has been struggling, you hadn't seen the signs of it, then, that bothers you. It's like, man, I really need to pay attention.
You feel guilty, you feel a level of shame. And coming from my background and stuff that I've experienced, having been down that route myself, having had, a night that, I still replay and ended up in the back of a police car on the way to the hospital because I was ready to be done. My wife was pregnant with our second child, my first boy, and I was ready to be done. Like, I was ready, and I was planning. I had notes written to my wife and everything. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the statistic, like the actual numbers and statistics with mental health and mental illness and suicide rates, 9 times out of 10, especially when it comes to men's mental health, it's because you feel like you're a burden. Mm-hmm. You feel like you're tearing other people down. You feel like the people that you care about the most would be better off if you were not a part of their life.
And we grew up to that point. We grew up, and everybody always said, suicide is one of the most selfish things you can do. Yeah. To the person that's doing it, it's the total opposite. Exactly. They're doing it to not be selfish because they don't want to be a burden to everybody, mm-hmm. because they get in their head and inside their heads telling them, man, you're bringing everybody down. Like everybody would be better off without you here.
Yeah.
And that is a wild thought. How and I think the digital age has kind of helped with all that to get that information out there, because it's like they're not being selfish 9 times out of 10.
How do you teach your son and your kids and your wife, like, how to be emotionally invested in themselves and, like, saying, hey, Dad, I'm not okay. Wife, I'm not okay. This is what's going on. How do you teach your kids to say, hey, it's okay not to be okay, but you need to talk to us?
Man, I think that's like a whole process, right? Of just always being open, and always letting them know that they've got somebody to talk to, even if it's a hard conversation. And sometimes, when they screw up, you come down really hard on, because y'all know as dads, you can get mad.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you crash out on them or whatever. Sometimes, showing a little bit of grace there, goes a long way. They're like, I can trust this guy. I can tell him something. And I've had that talk with my kids before, both of them. About depression and you hear about people committing suicide, and a lot of people shield kids from that, and I was never shielded from it, right? Because there was no way to shield me from my third grade classmate, my little league teammate. There was no way to shield that, and I think that's one thing that really helped out. I think having that honest and continuous feedback and communication is key, and just being present. I
think being present is the most important.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because that was going to be the next thought I have, is that that's what people say when they say ending the stigma, is that the definition of somebody who's struggling is that it means weakness. In my own personal opinion, from the people who helped me and the battles that I've gone through and seen my best friend and everyone else go through, is that to me it's a higher form of strength and masculinity to see a man humble himself and be like, I'm not okay. Yeah. I need some help. Reach out to a buddy, go see a doctor, go see a psychiatrist or a therapist or something like that, because that takes grit. To me, that takes humbling yourself. And we talked about, as a dad, as a guy, you can get mad. Pride is like one of the biggest battles that we all fight, right? Like, I'm going to be seen less than or weak if I go do this, if I go talk to somebody. Because, the 90s sitcoms was all joke. It made jokes about therapy being weak for men, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was ingrained in our heads as kids.
Yeah.
And so,
you got to go see a shrink.
I'm not crazy. But the thing is for me personally, and we've had a bunch of amazing guests on the show, and I've said this, I beat this quote to death. We flew out to LA last year, and we sat down with Zachary Levi. I don't know if you ever seen the Shazam movies or the TV show Chuck. I should have known you were going to say no. Even if you have or had, whatever, dude's a Hollywood type, and he's really cool. And he said that when you've been through the fire, you have a moral obligation to take buckets of water back to those who are still in the flames.
Oh man, that's deep.
That one hit me hard, and that's what I feel like what we're doing here. And then it goes all the way down to the dumb social media stuff. We make dumb comedy content, and we do the beard stuff because it gets eyes on pages. It gets people to podcasts and things like that. And then we go through 30 minutes of, shooting the shit and talking and all that stuff, and then we end up having this conversation, because that's where the real connection comes in. That's where life-saving comes in. That's where authenticity and relatability and all that stuff comes in, and that's where people realize, we're all just people. We're all just going through this. You have a whole mass of people that I don't know that you care about beyond measure, and that extends out for every single person. And I know that on social media you get all these that's safe place, so that's for snowflakes or things like that, and we say all the time is that I'd rather have someone calling me weak and instead of calling me because we need to attend a funeral. Right? You can call me weak, you can call me a wuss, you can call all that stuff, but you can also call me when you're crying, because I'd rather have you and all of your problems here for the rest of my life than to live with the guilt and the shame that maybe we didn't do enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that we don't get to have those experiences with you anymore. So.
Yeah, and from a content creator standpoint, I've never really heard anybody talk about this, but you do content, on a daily basis, and you have a big following. Everybody thinks, everything's hunky dory, man. Sometimes those are the most miserable people you ever met, because it's just constant negative feedback. And it's weird how your mind always goes. You can have 1,000 comments telling you how great you are, and you'll have 5 people telling you how big of a piece of shit you are, or saying negative stuff, or clowning on you or whatever, and your mind focuses on those 5 comments. You don't even worry about those other 1,000 comments that are telling you, hey, this is funny, you're doing a good job or whatever. So content creators get a lot, man, every day, and I always tell people,
you're cranking it out, dude. You're 3+ a day.
Yeah. Well, for the past 5 years, I ain't took a day off, and I learned early on, I used to care when I first started. You read the comments and you kind of get into it, and I've talked to him about this. I'm like, bro, you either got to stop caring or stop reading.
Scott, just so
I did. Me and Scott sat, and nothing to Scott, but we've had these conversations, of how to deal with the negative comments, and what I always say is, same thing I told Crystal. Whenever she does, because she scours the comments to see, the negative stuff, what people are saying. And I've told her, I'm like, hey, you either got to stop reading or stop caring, one or the other. Like
Sure.
you will drive yourself crazy trying to please everybody. You're not going to,
Yeah.
no matter what you do, you're always going to have somebody in there, saying something. And once you feed the trolls, or it's kind of like being in the military, man. You let the people you work with in the military know what bothers you, dog.
Oh, yeah.
It's full send on that. It's the same thing with the internet. You let them know that a certain comment bothers you, bro. Your comment section is about to be flooded.
Sure.
So how did you get over that? Because I personally have gotten over that. I know Logan's gotten over that, but how did you get over that and be able to say it's okay that they're giving you negative comments? Because that does affect a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm sure the saying goes back way. Never take advice. Never take criticism from somebody you wouldn't go to for advice. And that's huge. And then another aspect to that is I look at somebody says something out of pocket, either in person or on the internet, and I'm like, if that person died, would I go to their funeral? And if I wouldn't, why do I give two shits about what they think about me? Real talk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've all had constructive criticism from people that we care about, right? And then we've all had
Logan
ones
gives
where
me daily.
Yeah.
But no, I love all the different directions we've gone with this, because I feel like this is, I mean, we got ranked in the top 40 of unscripted podcasts, and at first I was like, oh, that's kind of lame, but then at the same time it's like, oh no, I think that's kind of cool. It shows that we try to have conversations that you're going to have riding in the truck with your buddies, or you're sitting around the campfire, or you're out fishing or whatever, because you've been in those where one minute you're laughing, next minute you're getting really deep, the next minute you guys are talking about a business opportunity, you guys are going to build something together, and I think this is what brings people together. This is where you hit people in the heart, and is, like I said, the reality, the authenticity, and all of that stuff. And so I can't thank you enough for coming all the way out here. I mean, I know the caliber. Coming all the way out.
I
can't thank you for letting.
I drove 3 minutes down
Hold on.
We flew 9 hours.
Well, I'm saying, for the sake of knowing how the back end of social media works and what your time is literally worth in dollars, that means a lot to us.
Yeah, and we had to reschedule this.
We did.
And I do got to say that I was really thank y'all for rescheduling that.
We're dads, we get it.
When we were supposed to originally do it, it was at the back end of
June
baseball season, and All-Stars, the All-Star tournament for my youngest son, and I got asked to be the manager for the All-Star team and everything. So
how did he do?
We didn't win, but we had a good time. Bless their hearts, we had a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, you called.
We lost 2-1.
Sure.
Yeah.
But when you called me, we talked about that. Like I said, I'm a dad. Tyson's a dad. He's got a whole gaggle. He's got 6 kids. They don't have a TV in their bedroom.
You need a TV in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Y'all figured out what causes that? Yeah, Lord have mercy, man.
My wife wears these boots, and I'm like, okay.
Apparently that's all she's wearing.
But you recall you said that. I mean, I'm glad you did, because I was still in marathon recovery. I could not walk.
Really?
We were going to be out here like a week after we'd ran the marathon, and when you push 245, 26 miles, nothing works right for like a week and a half.
How long did you train for this marathon?
I couldn't even run a mile in October without stopping.
Did you do the Couch to 5K program on your phone?
No, I signed up for a marathon, and I have a mental illness. So, you remember you talked about when things you're struggling, you go for a run?
Dude, do you not feel so good after a run, though?
Oh, it's euphoric. That's where I come up with my best ideas.
Now.
This guy's a freaking, ox too. He lifts like crazy. But as soon as I'd finish runs, I'd call him like, we got to shoot this video. We got to call this guy. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that I came up, I was finishing a run when I saw the video that you did of me. And I was like, I'm going to make a reaction. I'm going to call him out. And I'm going to say, we're going to do this and this. We're going to call Brian. I got your 622 out here. Yeah. And then, here we go. But I love what you'd said about running. And that's what I started doing. I got
it
out
does.
and
it works. Yeah. It works.
I should probably do it more
calves
that everybody wishes they have, because when you start running, when you're fat, everything lower half, it just is doing all the work.
He doesn't have a butt, but his calves are gnarly.
Really?
On point.
I seen a video the other day that said that men with very thick calves have like a 10% longer life expectancy than guys with, tiny baby calves.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I get there. I don't know.
And if you have tiny baby calves,
I'm all flexible.
What does your internet search history look like?
Dude, I'd be cooked. Hey, Cook, man. Hey, you know, they always bring up, like, on Dateline or whatever, they're like, you know, this search history. Bro, if they brought up they'd be like, this guy, wild.
Well, see, here's the thing. Is
Well, yeah, because you have all these random facts.
Yeah.
Here's the thing,
That
though,
makes
as
sense.
we're wrapping up, everyone talks about the government watching you, the internet.
Speaking of wrapping up, you need to start doing that. 6 kids is a lot, man.
We're done. My youngest is 12.
he got fixed.
Oh, yeah. Hell
but
yeah.
he,
No, shut up.
How old's the youngest?
12. My oldest is 21.
Man, you are old. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I'll be 46 in November.
Yeah.
but we're gonna call this ADHD podcast.
Age
But no,
ain't nothing but mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter.
We have in Utah where we live, or at least where I am, we're less than 1 air mile away from the biggest Facebook data center and an NSA building. So if they want to know what 35-year-old chubby guy in the middle of Utah is doing, they know.
Yeah.
And so on that,
Or you just say a random word in Facebook will just create an ad
sure,
for it.
but
Bro, you think it.
Yeah.
If you think it. I thought about something the other day. Total random thought. And then it popped up the next day. I was like, that is wild.
oh yeah.
So we got a dog. My daughter got a dog as like an emotional support, and it really works. And she named him Onyx. Literally within an hour,
You started getting fed those
Onyx
Facebook
rocks.
Lives.
Like Onyx rocks.
Have you seen those Asian women that sift through the rocks on TikTok
Yeah.
Live?
Yeah. I got that.
I
man.
will watch that, man. I ain't gonna buy that stuff, but I'll watch
I watch the random.
We're gonna throw in this free black.
Have you
rock.
seen the random Chinese ones where they make like chopsticks and it takes like 10 minutes of a whole?
I've not seen this. I'll see it tonight. Now that we're talking about it,
Dude, it's
but
there.
everybody gonna see it now.
What will happen though? What will happen is you'll be in bed and you'll watch it and you'll fall asleep and the phone will hit you in the face because it's so comforting.
Sure. Well, on that note, no, but we got to wrap it up. We're gonna feed all these people that came out to watch.
Oh yeah, we hit 1 hour and 1 minute. And
Hey,
20
but,
seconds. He was
Before we
waiting
eat,
to get to that
let's
finish
hurry and
line.
get a picture with everyone. Can
Yeah,
we get a
yeah,
picture
we
with
will.
everyone.
But before we wrap up, Justin, thank you so much for doing this. with
Yeah,
us.
thank y'all for coming
Yeah,
out. I
stop.
appreciate it because I just, I keep a busy schedule. So getting me out to Utah,
Yeah.
honestly, would have probably worked right now because I was already out.
I know you're
Yeah, you were at
Colorado.
Yeah, you were in Utah.
I
Your
would have
layover
been,
was
been like
Utah.
a 45-minute flight for me to get to y'all. And, I had to wake up at 2:30 to get here.
Yeah.
But we got to be here.
Yeah, well, you
So-
do.
We got to go to Harley Davidson tomorrow.
Yes,
But
we did.
big thank you to you. Big thank you to
you.
Gulf Custom Motors. Big thank you.
He's like, would
to,
y'all stop talking
Yeah,
so we
okay,
can
wrap
wrap
up.
it? He's
Aaron-
hungry.
Aaron has
Rose's
been going
hungry.
like this.
He sees that barbecue
Yeah.
from 850 Barbecue
But-
over there, and he's like,
Yeah.
hey, fat kid got to eat, man. I get it. I'm a fat kid, too.
So, and then big thank you to War Trophy and to Barbasol and
Gulf Coastal Customs.
Yeah, and
No, Gulf
850.
Custom Motors.
What did I say?
I don't know what
Coastal,
you said.
you kind of ran them all together
Well.
there, but it's fine.
Anyway,
Gulf Custom Motors over on Racetrack Road in Fort Walton Beach. This place is phenomenal. Matt has done a great
He
job.
let
with
us
it.
try that car yesterday.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
you have
Yeah.
to listen to it. You got to drive it.
Whatever. I tried to fit in the Ferrari right here.
You ain't getting in that Ferrari,
I
dog.
didn't. I
Hey,
tried.
have y'all seen Gus over at Emerald Coast? They call him Big Gus, right? And we somebody traded in a Vanderhall, and he was like, "I want to drive that." And after I took it down the road, I was like, "Bro, you ain't getting in that. If you do, you ain't getting out of it."
Sure.
I couldn't get out of it. That's my
No,
problem.
yeah,
So, we're good.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Shut your mouth.
yeah.
Anyway,
So, you know, one thing we did forget to talk about. So we're going to end the podcast without Logan.
So, anyways, we could probably go on forever.
We could.
We're going to hang out tonight. We're going to feed some people, and tomorrow we're going to be out here and we're going to do a lot of good. And we're going to milk everybody for every dime we can for an
I'm not
amazing
milking
cause.
anybody.
Well, an expression.
Except me.
I don't know
That's
what
gay,
you're
brother.
into.
Except
but,
me, right?
Yeah.
We talked about our nips already. So
Yeah, okay.
He's got me.
On that note,
Patreon.
thank you guys all for tuning in, and we will catch you next week.
All right, toodles.
Hey, y'all take it easy. I'll take it any way I can get it. Y'all have to go on. Let's go eat more.